I used to love solving puzzles when I was a kid. I loved solving all kinds of puzzles. You name it, I probably tried solving it. Some puzzles were easy, some were tough. The puzzle that gave me the biggest challenge was the Rubik's Cube. You open the box, you start out with a perfect cube. Every color is in their rightful place. Undoing this perfect cube is the easy part. But now the objective of this puzzle is you gotta take the cube and shift it and turn it and twist it to organize it and put it back in its proper and perfect state. But there were no instructions. You just gotta kind of learn it on your own. And you gotta solve all 6 sides. I was trying to solve this puzzle, this cube, with no help, no guidance, no instructions. I remember it would take me forever just to solve one side of the puzzle. But then I wouldn't know how to solve a different side without undoing the side that I had just solved. And I sat there for hours trying to figure this thing out, and so it kind of frustrated me, and so I gave up. I lost hope. My sister wanted to solve the puzzle. She wanted to solve this cube, and I told her that, she was never gonna solve it and that it's impossible. And to my surprise, about 30 minutes later, my sister had done what I thought was impossible to do. She had taken this imperfect cube and shifted it back into its perfect state. And I was kind of baffled. I was like, what's the difference between me and her? How come she was able to solve this puzzle, this cube, and make it perfect, and I couldn't? As soon as she knew that she couldn't figure out this puzzle on her own, she immediately sought for help. She had some guidance from someone who knows how to solve this puzzle, and I didn't. When I had seen my sister solve this thing that I myself couldn't solve, all of a sudden the hope that I had lost was restored. There was this glimmer of hope for me. Because if this person can do what I thought was impossible, then what makes me think that I can't do the same? So what she did was she showed me that it is possible to accomplish this thing that seemed to be impossible to accomplish. And now all of a sudden, she had restored this hope. We live in a world full of Christians who believe that you cannot be perfect, who believe that it's impossible to solve this sin problem. And the reason why we can't accomplish things that seem to be impossible to accomplish is because we've never seen it done before. And so for years, the question was, who can be saved? Nobody's immune to death, but people don't realize how Jesus really saved us. Jesus came down as a man, 100% vulnerable to temptations and sin and death, but he overcame. He fulfilled the law, died, then resurrected and ascended to heaven. Well, what was the difference? How come Jesus was able to finish the task that we can't? How come he was able to be perfect? It's because Jesus had guidance from his Father. And well, if that's the case, if that's what it takes to become perfect, if that's what it takes to become sinless, die, then resurrect and ascend to heaven, then why don't we seek guidance from God ourselves, and we too can be perfect. We can become perfect. And that's the example that Jesus gave to us, that it is possible to be perfect. It is possible to be sinless. Jesus himself said in Matthew 5, verse 48, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." Jesus himself believes in us, that we too can be perfect. So don't let anybody tell you that you cannot be perfect. That's a lie. You can be perfect. You just need guidance from the one who is perfect. Jesus said himself in Matthew 19, verse 26, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible."